Okay, welcome everyone. This is Dr. Edward Kondrot, and today we're going to be talking about improving the results of microcurrent. I'm very excited that all of you are going to begin using the microcurrent machine, but it's my goal that you have the best outcomes with the microcurrent. So the microcurrent is an extremely powerful tool to help stimulate the healing process in the body, but you do need some other essentials for microcurrent to work properly. You need good nutrition, proper hydration, eliminating toxins, and some other items. So let's begin. I'm going to start with 4 steps to improve results with microcurrent. And I want to begin by showing you this video. My wife and I did the Camino Le Puy in France, and we came across this sacred chapel of Saint Foy, who was a saint that during her life she was known for restoring blindness. And I had never heard of this saint. I grew up Catholic and I thought I knew all the saints. And so this was a really mystical place. And there was water there, that the water was known. Pilgrims come from all over Europe to go there to bathe in the water to restore blindness. Then I just came across a doctor of medieval studies from London who did her thesis on this saint. So I'm going to be interviewing her for my radio show. One of my radio shows, and we're going to talk about her research. So this is Dr. Kondrot. We just climbed up a very, very steep hill to come to the sacred chapel of Saint Foy. Saint Foy was known when she was alive. Dr. Kondrot, we just climbed up a very, very steep hill to come to the sacred chapel of Saint Foy. Saint Foy was known when she was alive to cure blindness. And when she died, a monk got her relics and was carrying it to bury. And he became very weak and tired. He fell and hit his head on a stone. And he heard a voice say, "What would you want? Would you want wine for a day or water the rest of your life?" And then he said, "Water for the rest of my life." And immediately a spring sprung and water began to flow. So this is the exact spot where they built the chapel. There's a spring underneath this chapel, and the water has curative properties. If you get the water and rub it in your eyes, it'll cure blindness. So this is a very important place for me and all of you that have sent me petitions and prayers. We've come to the spot where your blindness and visual problems can be cured. This is the sacred spring from Saint Foy. The chapel is up above, and this is the water coming here. And the water to cure blindness. And I'm doing this to represent all of you that have sent petitions and prayers to help with your eye problems. So improving results 1. I'm a big advocate of you are what you eat. Food is our best medicine. And Thomas Edison said that the doctor of the future would not prescribe any medication, but instead he would advise the patient on proper nutrition. So I'm a big advocate of a raw organic diet. 70 to 80% of the food that you eat should be raw organic. Colorful foods will give you colorful vision. Avoid the genetically modified foods, preservatives, etc. Proper hydration is critical. Drinking plenty of water is the best way to detoxify our body. Drinking water is especially important if you're doing microcurrent. If you are dehydrated doing a microcurrent treatment, you can get into trouble. I know because I got into trouble. When I was doing my microcurrent training 20 years ago, I had a long treatment on my neck, and I woke up that night with flu symptoms, and I was sick. I almost didn't make it back to class. When I went back to class, the first question the teacher said to me, "How much water did you drink?" And I said, "None." "Weren't you listening to me?" So I want you to listen to me. We get calls all the time, If a patient calls and says, something's wrong with my machine, Dr. Conrad, every time I do a treatment, I get a headache, first question we ask them, how much water are you drinking? Is that important? Yes, we emphasized it. So you need to drink plenty of water. The rule of thumb we have is half of your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 ounces of water. If it's too much water for you, lose weight. Then you don't have to drink as much water. But water is the best way. Now, of course, we're concerned about where you're going to get a good source of drinking water. Our tap water is contaminated. Many well waters are contaminated. I'm a big advocate of reverse osmosis. It's inexpensive. Get it installed underneath your kitchen sink. Reverse osmosis water is essentially almost like distilled water. Reducing stress is critical. The body will not heal if it is in a stress state. Unfortunately, traditional Western medicine puts you in a stress state. If you don't have this surgery, you're going to die. If you don't take these eye drops, you're going to go blind. If you don't wear these glasses, your eyes are going to get worse. But actually, the eyes get worse because you're wearing the glasses. So anyway, you got to reduce stress, and there's many ways of doing that. Deep breathing, exercise, positive affirmations, prayer, many things, but reduce that stress. Because our diets are pathetic, especially here in the United States with genetically modified food, high fructose corn syrup, we do need nutritional supplements. So I've worked on developing customized vitamin formulas. When you are part of the Get Started, we will give you your first month supply free of the customized vitamin formula for you. So we have a macular protocol, glaucoma, cataract, and dry eye. Common question, I have all three. I have all four of them. What do I take? We usually like you to take the primary problem that you have. Number one, everybody over the age of 50 has early cataracts. That doesn't mean you have to start taking the cataract formula. I would rather see you really change your diet and detoxify your body than just looking for a vitamin as a shortcut for good health. It's not a shortcut for good health. It's kind of a supplement to help your body to heal. So we will determine what your primary problem is, and we recommend that you use that particular vitamin formula. Now, what makes my vitamin formula different? I think there's a lot of good nutritional products on the market. Unfortunately, many of them have synthetic vitamins. A lot of them have vitamins from China. A lot of them have really inferior products that aren't the best for you. Also, another issue is as we get older, especially when we get over the age of 60, our digestion and absorption changes. So in my vitamin formula, I have digestive enzymes, probiotics, and a little bit of supplemental betaine, our hydrochloric acid, to help your digestion and absorption. So when you take this vitamin formula with your meal, not only does it help the nutrients be absorbed, it also helps the food that you're eating. So that's why I think that this is really a good formula. So normally, if you would buy all these ingredients, this is just the macular formula, it would probably cost you over $250 some if you would buy the ingredients separately. You can see we have a lot of green food products here, barley, blue-green algae, broccoli powder, wheat sprout powder. Now, a lot of people say wheat sprout powder, oh, I have a gluten allergy. I can't take wheat. Well, this is the wheat, the sprout of the wheat, which has no gluten. So wheat sprouts do not have any gluten. And we have milk thistle, which is good for the kidney, green tea extract, great seed. You can see it's quite a collection of really powerful ingredients. We have the advanced cataract protocol, the glaucoma protocol. So all of these, and we'll be giving you your first month's supply to help you get started. And I encourage you to continue at least for 3 to 6 months, because remember, when you start making nutritional changes, they don't take place immediately. It takes 3 to 6 months before those essential building blocks are absorbed into your body. Improving results too. So we got you drinking more water, we got you reducing stress, you're improving your nutrition, but unfortunately most of us have accumulated heavy metals over our lifetime. And most patients are shocked when they get their 6-hour urine test. My God, where did that lead come from? Well, we grew up at a time when leaded gasoline, leaded paint, leaded pencils, everybody that I see with eye problems has elevated lead. And it's so important to get the lead out. The only effective way of measuring for lead is the 6-hour urine challenge test. You could be dying of lead poisoning and your blood and urine will be normal because the lead doesn't stay in your blood and urine. It goes to your brain, your eye, your heart, your blood vessels. You need to take a chelating agent, and we give you 5 pills to take, Captomer, which is a chelating agent, and it draws the lead and mercury out of your fat and your bone, and then we can measure it. So it's essential. Hair analysis is a crude test. It's not very accurate. There's many other ways, kinesiology, muscle testing, but if you're really serious about regaining your health and your vision, you need to get the 6-hour urine test. One of the best ways, and we'll talk about chelation. Chelation is a method for removing those heavy metals. Chelation comes from a word claw, and it's a molecule that grabs those heavy metals, pulls them out of the body. So we need to get the lead out. Heavy metals are a contributing factor in all disease, and as I mentioned, you need to get the 6-hour urine challenge test. And here's an example of a patient, and the lead here is 7 times normal. And typically we see people that their lead is off the chart. Methods of detoxification. It begins with good nutrition. Vitamin C is a chelating agent. Vitamin C helps, and there's many other fruits and vegetables that can help chelate. Proper hydration, I mentioned. Drinking plenty of water helps your body to eliminate these heavy metals. Infrared sauna. The infrared heat penetrates your body and helps for detoxification. Now, in terms of removing heavy metals, infrared sauna and hydration, unfortunately, will not eliminate all the lead in your body. We talk about the half-life of lead. By half-life, we mean how long will it take? How many years would it take for nature in your body to naturally remove the lead? Let's say I had 10 grams of lead in my body. The half-life is 99 years. That means I have 10 grams in my body. In 99 years, I'll have 5 grams in my body. So you can see that Mother Nature, drinking water and eating is not going to remove that lead. You got to do something else, and that's chelation. Microcurrent can help chelate the body. We have frequencies. In fact, in your detox program, there are frequencies to help you remove your lead and heavy metals. But it's not a standalone program. It's an adjunct to other therapies that you're doing. But the microcurrent helps strengthen your liver and kidneys to help you to detoxify. Homeopathy can be valuable. There are certain homeopathic remedies that we can use. But once again, these are all supportive, adjunctive. They should not be the primary way that you detoxify your body. Last is chelation. Now, one of my favorite herbs is cilantro. Dr. David Williams said that this is God's gift to mankind. Cilantro, or Italian parsley, or coriander, is extremely powerful for removing mercury. And it also crosses the blood-brain barrier, which has an added benefit, because many chelating substances don't get into the brain. So I encourage you, grow cilantro in your home. In fact, there's products on the market. Window cilantro, where they sell you the seeds, a little planter, it grows like a weed. Take a snippet of it, put it in your soup, make cilantro pesto, eat some, put it in your salad. It's interesting, the Vietnamese have very, very low levels of mercury. And the reason is, if you've ever eaten Vietnamese food, they love their cilantro. If you get a Vietnamese sandwich, there's no lettuce on the sandwich, it's cilantro. If you get the soup, they got tons of cilantro in. And here's a picture of the infrared sauna that we have at our ranch. Once again, the infrared sauna will help remove maybe pesticides, plastic, benzene derivatives from your body, poisons like that, but it's not going to effectively remove the lead. We have homeopathic remedies. It seems like the 6C of the heavy metal. So lead 6C, mercury 6C can be an adjunctive treatment. Microcurrent, we have specific frequencies that will be part of your machine to help you. So do the detox program, especially if you're actively getting chelation, if your lead is off the chart, use that detox program every day. Now, the best way to do chelation is intravenously, IV, because 100% of that will get into your body. It's really the most effective way. But unfortunately, there's a cost involved. There's an investment involved to get the IV chelation. Doctors are charging maybe $100 to $150, sometimes more for an IV chelation. And you're going to need 20, 40, 60, or 80 sometimes to remove your lead. So don't get the idea you have one IV chelation and it's done. If you can't get the IV chelation either because it's not affordable for you or you can't find a doctor or time involved traveling to a doctor's office, Rectal is the next best. Rectal suppository. 25% of the chelation will be absorbed rectally, and I recommend that patients do this every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the rectal suppository. There's topical products that you put on your skin. Remember, the skin surface is the highest surface of our neurological body. So there's tiny nerve filaments on our skin. So by putting lotion on. I really don't recommend that. Typically, the topical chelation is for maybe autistic children who can't get an IV, or you're not going to put a rectal suppository in an autistic kid. The salve or the lotion is good for them. And oral. Oral is the least effective because a small amount is absorbed into the body. But one thing the oral is good for, it helps chelate and binds heavy metals that are in your food. So if you're really questioning your diet, and this point was illustrated to me. I had dinner with two of the top chelating doctors in the country, Dr. Gary Gordon and Dr. Robert Rowan. And Dr. Gordon ordered some fish. And I was like a wise guy, and I said, Dr. Gordon, aren't you worried about the mercury in the fish? He said, nope. Held out his hand, and he had some chelation pills. So it made sense to me. It helps absorb the toxins before they get into your body. This is a great DVD. I'd encourage all of you to see if you can watch it, called Unleaded. It's a documentary film about the TACT study, T-A-C-T, Trial to Assess Chelation Therapy. This was a 10-year, $31 million study sponsored by the National Institute of Health. It was actually designed to disprove chelation. The cardiologist wanted to disprove it. And it was a good study. You had to be a high-risk cardiac patient. You had to be sick, either have a heart attack, a stent, active chest pain. These weren't healthy people in the study. They divided them into two groups. One group got EDTA chelation every week. The other group got sugar water. The patient didn't know, and the doctor didn't know, and the statistician didn't know. The government sent them an IV bag. No one knew what was in it. And at 10 years, they cracked the code. And heart disease, a reduction of 26%. My God, if there was a 5% reduction, it would be the leading selling drug. If you were a diabetic, a 39% reduction in major heart disease. Heart attacks were reduced by 23%. Shocking results. Now, they didn't look at vision, but every patient I know that undergoes chelation claims it improves their vision. This study impressed me so much. I have borderline hypertension, and there's a history of heart disease in my family, so I'm getting an IV chelation every week. And I'm starting it on myself because I can't always find a nurse. And it's hard to start an IV on yourself. Dr. Contrat, you're hurting me. Stop it. But I'm biting the bullet because I know it's helping me. And after, I think 2 months now, my blood pressure is a lot lower after the chelation. So how do you find a doctor that does chelation? 2 websites, www.acam.org, type in your zip code, find a doctor, or www.a4m.com. These are 2 great locations. Find a doctor near you, give them a call, tell them that you're interested in chelation. So I mentioned that there are products available if you can't not get IV chelation, and this is detoxamine, which is the suppositories. In fact, I have some patients that maybe they can't get an IV chelation once a week, so they maybe get an IV chelation once a month, but they're doing the detoxamine every other day, and they're taking the oral detox, ocular detox, every day. So we'll talk to you about that, a combination. And of course, a lot depends on your age and how elevated your heavy metals are. So if your lead is slightly elevated, you don't have to be aggressive. But if you're dramatically losing your vision, your glaucoma's out of control, and your lead's off the chart, I think this needs to be a priority. Improving results 3, genetic testing. This was shocking to me that vitamins may backfire. There was a study published in the American Journal of Ophthalmology that a certain genetic subset of patients, when they take eye vitamins, it actually doubles their risk of macular degeneration. When I read that article, I said, my God, as a doctor, my first obligation is not to hurt patients. You mean if I'm recommending vitamins and it's actually doubling their risk, what kind of doctor am I? And then I said to myself, well, this is once again big pharma bad-mouthing vitamins. Anytime there's a reaction to ginkgo biloba, it makes the front page of USA Today, but they don't talk about all the deaths from aspirin and other medications. So let's back up a little bit. This was a study that was done in 2001. It was called the ARED study. And this study was to look at the effect of vitamins on macular degeneration. And it was a good study. If you just took antioxidants, there was a 17% risk reduction. If you just took zinc, there was a 21% risk. If you took both, there was a 25% reduction. Interestingly, I began testing for zinc. Everybody that I see in my office is deficient in zinc, even if they're taking zinc as a supplement, which is shocking. One thing that disturbed me about this study, they used zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is the worst form of zinc you can take. It's the cheapest. Zinc oxide is what the lifeguards put on their nose. You need to take a chelated form of zinc. And I think this may be one of the problems in this in terms of increasing the risk. So this was the study that was published by Dr. O. His last name is A-W-H, but it's pronounced O. And I interviewed him on my radio show. And it was actually a pretty good study. And then I began to think, in homeopathy, we treat the person, not the disease. So when you say there's like one formula or one product that's going to help everybody, that's usually erroneous. We have to treat the person. And we know that there is a subset of people that are allergic to vitamin C. High doses of vitamin C in this population, it's a certain genetic SNP, can actually cause anemia. 45% of the population has a methylation defect. That means you need more vitamin B complex vitamins. Also, there's a form of macular degeneration called Stargardt's, and some research indicates that excessive vitamin A can accelerate the Stargardt's disease. So we have this evidence already. So anyway, this genetic SNP. So I feel that we need to look at genetic testing. So I began to look at different companies that test that do this, and I found a company in Australia. So my wife and I traveled halfway around the world to Australia, and we got certified at Fit Genes. I like Fit Genes because it mainly looks at prevention, and it looks at these 5 categories: inflammation, cell defense, cardiovascular health, fat metabolism, and vitamin D metabolism. All these are critical in helping make your body as strong as possible to keep you healthy and to keep your eyes healthy. So they look at genetic SNPs for inflammation, what you need to do to maybe change your diet, different nutritional supplements to take and to avoid. So this is something that we recommend. We have a 6-week Fit Genes program. I have an initial consult with you to discuss your goals. Some people just want to lose weight. Other people, they want to get healthier hearts or improve their vision. You fill out a comprehensive health questionnaire. We do this genetic profile, and you don't have to come into the office for that. We send you the swabs. You swab both sides of your cheek. We ship it to Australia. Then we get the test back. We have another consultation with you. We review everything, make lifestyle modifications, nutritional, dietary, and vitamin recommendations. For me, it was kind of interesting. I'm outside here in Florida in the sun. I run every day. I take supplemental vitamin D, but my genetic test revealed that I have 2 defective SNPs for vitamin T metabolism. And the Fit Genes said that I need to eat more cruciferous vegetables, sulforaphane, broccoli, cauliflower, to help with that process. So when I began taking more cruciferous vegetables and supplemental sulforaphane, I find myself losing weight. I was losing more weight because it was strange. I was exercising and actually gaining more weight because I had this abnormality in vitamin D metabolism. It was actually causing me to gain weight, which is kind of strange. So that's our Fit Genes program. So we have a special offer. Normally we charge $2,995 for that. For existing patients, we've reduced it to $1,495. And actually, and that's the wrong date there, if we really want you to get this testing done, and we're offering it for $995. So you can give the office a call or talk to one of the staff members about this. So proving results number 4, oxidative treatments. And this uses a substance called ozone. Ozone is a highly reactive form of oxygen, which improves oxygenation in the body, causes many neuroendocrine changes, and it improves oxygen uptake. And it's been extremely a good, powerful supplement to help folks with macular degeneration and glaucoma. Now, one thing that it does, it improves oxygenation. Now, as we get older, we may be breathing good oxygen. We may have a good oxygen saturation in our blood, but our cells are older, and they're just not taking up the oxygen. When you get an oxidative treatment, it resets your cell. It is now taking up more oxygen, and it lasts for a couple of days. Also, it helps reduce inflammation. Oxidative treatments reduce inflammation, stimulates healing, and it balances the immune system. Now, there are many ways of doing these oxidative treatments. The hydrogen peroxide is one, IV hydrogen peroxide. Autohemotherapy is where they take blood out of your body, mix it with ozone, and put it back in. Ultraviolet blood irradiation is they take the blood out of your body, mix it with ozone, and then shine ultraviolet light, then put it back into your body. Now, one thing I'm really big, I like to empower patients to do these treatments on their own. So rectal insufflation is something I recommend all of my patients do. The investment in the equipment is under $1,000, and you can do a rectal insufflation every day. It's a 10-minute treatment. And you insert a small amount of ozone gas rectally. It's absorbed into your body very quickly. It circulates through the body, and it can be very effective. Also, ozone eye drops are really effective. Now, Dr. Silvia Mendinez in Cuba has probably the most experience with rectal insufflation. She's treated thousands of patients and probably has the largest series of eye patients. And all of her results were achieved with rectal insufflation. They just don't do IV therapies in Cuba. So the advantages of rectal: less costly than auto hemotherapy or ultraviolet blood irradiation, because you're going to be paying maybe $200 for a UBI or auto hemotherapy. IV insertion is not necessary because unfortunately sometimes as we get older our veins aren't that great and we just can't get the IV. And I like it because it empowers you to do these treatments on your own. And I think that's why I like the microcurrent. It empowers you. You're doing the microcurrent every day. You're doing the rectal insufflation. So all these things empower you to be independent. So we recommend the Ozone maybe 5 days a week, rest on the weekend, 200 cc's, 40 gamma of ozone. Now I have a video here I'd like to play for you on setting it up for rectal insufflation. So let's.
Okay.
Jan, this is Dr. Conrad. I'm going to be giving you some instructions on the ozone generator for rectal insufflation. So you'll receive your ozone generator in a box like this. And I want to just tell you, don't be intimidated. This is the generator here. It's very simple. O2 in, that's where the oxygen comes in, and ozone. And you have a plug for your electrical connection. We have everything here, and then you also get some tubing. So now we're set to go to the next stage. Now you need oxygen. It either has to be medical grade oxygen or industrial grade. The first thing you have to determine is if you can purchase medical grade or industrial grade. There are some patients who have difficulty getting a prescription for the medical grade. The industrial grade is just as fine. Now the reason for that, there's two different types of valves. We have one for the industrial tank and we have one for a medical tank. So you have to determine, the first step is to get the right tank for your equipment, and then let us know, and then we'll ship the right connector for you. Now this happens to be a medical grade tank. And this is the regulator. And it's very simple to connect. Even a retired eye surgeon can do this. And when you connect it, you probably want to make sure that your control valve is here so you can see it. Like that. Next, you'll get some tubing to connect the regulator to your ozone generator. It's very easy to slide in, and then it's clearly marked O2, O2 in. So you're all set for this part. Next, you'll connect your electrical supply, and it plugs in the back, right here. Plug it into an outlet. Now you do have some indicator lights here. You have the power and you have the ozone. So when I do click this on, you hear some noise and you hear the ozone light is on. That means it's generating ozone. Now you do have to be careful because ozone gas is toxic to breathe. It's wonderful for therapeutic treatments for rectal insufflation or mixing it with blood, mixing it with water to drink or making eye drops, but we do not want to breathe the ozone. So you do have to take precautions with this. Don't run it excessively. If you do smell something funny, make sure there's plenty of ventilation in the room. Okay, now that we're finished with that, now we're going to go into the nuts and bolts of the treatment. You also have, it also comes with an insufflation kit. And this is all the material you're going to get. You have 2 bags and 2 syringes. So let me open up one bag here. This is your rectal insufflation bag. You also have several catheters. These are the rectal catheters. And you also have a couple of syringes. The syringes are used for cleaning. You do not have to replace these catheters after every use. You can simply rinse them with water. If there is some fecal material inside, you can fill this syringe with water and irrigate the catheter. By connecting it here and irrigating it. Okay, now we're all set for our first rectal insufflation. It's a twist valve that connects right here to the machine. Very simple. And you also have a safety valve here. You want to make sure it's open. And to make sure, if you can slide it, that means it's open. If it's locked, you're not going to be able to put any ozone into the bag. If you also notice, there's a little little hand mark right here for different levels. So if your finger's right here and you fill this bag up, you're going to get 200 cc's. If your finger's here, you're going to get 400. If there's nothing, the whole bag fills up. So what I recommend is you begin with 200 cc's. 200 cc's by putting your finger here. Now you also see it's important that you use the right concentration. The ozone comes in different gamma. It's recommended that you use 37 to 40 gamma for rectal insufflation. And if you look over on the chart, the setting should be 1/8. Now what does 1/8 mean? Well, 1/8 means the setting on your valve. So your valve has different settings. 1/8 is the setting right there. So you want to make sure the valve is set right. Now it's interesting, the faster the oxygen flows, the less the oxygen is going to be ozonated. The slow flow, you get much more ozonation. That's why we're using 1/8. That's 1/8 liter per minute, which is slow, so we get the maximum ozonation. Okay, so we have our bag connected. Then you turn on your oxygen. When you turn on the oxygen, you should see the needle in the green area, which indicates full. This is an empty tank, so I have no oxygen in here. So imagine the needle's like green. Then you're set to go. What you do is you just hit the button here. The green light comes on, put your finger here, and you wait until this side becomes full of ozone. When it's done, you shut off the button. Then what you do is you lock it so the ozone doesn't escape. Then you disconnect this. It's very simple. And you have your ozone in the bag. Now, it's going to be really full with your finger here, but once I take my finger away, it's going to leak in the bag. So don't think that, oh my goodness, all the ozone disappeared. No, it's still in the bag. Then you're going to get your rectal catheter, connect this. Then you're going to use olive oil. You don't use Vaseline, you're going to use olive oil. And I recommend a good grade of Italian olive oil. Now, why olive oil? Ozone will interact with petrochemical products, and it will make harmful byproducts. So you don't want to use Vaseline. You want to use olive oil. Olive oil is very safe to use with ozone. Matter of fact, some companies actually make an ozonated olive oil for your skin. So then you just put dip the end of this, then go into the bathroom or lay on the side. You insert this rectally. Once you're certain that's inserted rectally, and you don't only have to go maybe 1 or 2 inches. You don't have to worry about going in too far, because when the doctors do a colonoscopy, I mean, they go up a couple feet. So don't worry that you're going to hurt yourself. Go in a couple inches. Then when you're ready, open up the valve, and then you're going to roll this to get all the ozone gas.
Push it into your body.
Push it in. Hold it. Now, if you let go of this, the ozone's going to go right back into the bath.
Back out.
So you put it in, you bear down your sphincter, and you pull out the catheter. Then hold it for about 10 minutes. Now, the ozone is very quickly absorbed through the rectal mucosa. So even if you lose some within the first couple of minutes, you're still getting an effective treatment. As you do the ozone, you're going to become more and more comfortable. When I first started to do it, I would lose gas instantly. After a while, I had more control. Then I would recommend after you do 200 for a while and you're comfortable, you may go up to 400. I also recommend that you do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, take a break on the weekend. And this is probably one of the most powerful treatments you can do. It's oxygen uptake. It's very powerful for regenerating tissue. And it's quickly absorbed into your bloodstream, going to your eye, your optic nerve, parts of the body that's needed. So many people will feel increase in health, vitality, or energy. So it's a wonderful therapy. Okay, now that is on YouTube. So if you wanted to watch it again, go to YouTube and type in my name, Kondrat Ozone. You'll come up with that. So you could watch it again. Also, I have a YouTube channel. You could sign up for my YouTube channel, and you'll be notified on all the new videos and lectures that I give. Ozone eye drops are also very, very effective. Not so much for treating macular degeneration, but they may have some benefit in treating glaucoma, cataract. Especially they're good for dry eyes. So don't think that these ozone eye drops are going to replace your glaucoma drops. They're not. But they can make the eye much more comfortable, especially if you're having a bad reaction to eye drops and your eyes are dry. Ozone, in addition, can be used for treating water for drinking ozonated water. And because when the water's ozonated, it purifies the water. It eliminates the bacteria, viruses, and parasites. Also good for purifying fruits and vegetables. So if you buy some fruits and vegetables, maybe they've been sprayed, put them in your kitchen sink, bubble some ozone through it. So these ozone generators use ambient air. It's simpler to use. You don't have to get a tank of oxygen. I like the CATS generator. I have this on my kitchen sink. Turn it on. I ozonate water for drinking. I ozonate saline for eye drops. You can ozonate your vegetables. In fact, our swimming pool at our ranch in Florida, we have ozonated water. We don't use any chlorine. So I also have a YouTube on making ozonated water. So I'd like to play that now. Hi, I'm Dr. Kondrat, and I've been asked to do a short video on how to make ozonated saline drops. They're really popular with many patients. They're great to relieve tired, sore eyes. Also, if you have dry eye syndrome or inflammation of your eyes, it's great. And they're just extremely helpful and beneficial for your overall eye health. I like the CATS ozone generator. It's an inexpensive ozone device, and it's much different than many of the other ozone machines in that it doesn't require medical grade oxygen. This machine takes ambient air and makes a low concentration for ozone eye drops, and that's what you want. If you do have a commercially available machine that uses oxygen, you want to keep a very, very low gamma, under 5 gamma, ideally around 2 to 4 gamma. And this is what this machine will deliver. It's very simple. There's a tube that connects, and there's a small aquarium bubbler. You need to purchase preservative-free saline, and that's very important, preservative-free saline at 0.9%. We do sell commercial preservative-free saline in our office that we use for IV therapy. The reason why you need to get preservative-free, the ozone will interact with the preservatives and make harmful byproducts. You do not want to use water to ozonate and use on your eye because that'll burn your eye. It's not the right osmolarity. You want a 0.9% saline, and it's very, very soothing for your eye. And the saline seems to hold the ozone a little bit longer. Very simple. You turn the machine on for 15, 20 minutes, and you can see it's bubbling ozone. And what we do is we like to put a washcloth on top. Now, it's also important that you use a glass container. You don't want to have a plastic cup or a plastic container. I like this flask. You can buy this on Amazon.com because it has a narrow neck. But you can use a mason jar or you can use a glass at home. So we put our saline in here, we bubble for 15 to 20 minutes. Then, when it's done, the machine will shut off. It's also important to get a small glass eyedropper bottle. Once again, glass is important, you don't want plastic. And then you just pour the ozone into the bottle. You have your ozone drops. And then you apply them to your eye. And they're very, very soothing. How often do you apply them? Well, once you ozonate the saline, that's when they're the strongest. So I'd recommend every 5 minutes, every minute, flood your eyes with the ozonated saline. Then after that, maybe every 15 or 20 minutes. Now, the ozone does not last in the saline. The half-life of ozone in saline is about 2 hours. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, half the ozone will be gone in 2 hours. Then in another 2 hours, you'll have 1/4, and so on. So you can see by the end of the day, you're going to have very, very little ozone in the saline. So I recommend keep this on your kitchen counter, and then you pour this back in, and then re-ozonate it. Put it back in. It's not necessary to throw the ozonated saline away. You put it back in. Don't have to worry about contamination because ozone is a powerful disinfectant. It's going to destroy all the bacteria. As long as you ozonate it for 15 to 20 minutes, you're safe. Put it back in the bottle. So I have some patients that maybe have severe dry eyes. They use the ozonated saline all day long, and they re-ozonate it in the afternoon, in the evening, and maybe at night before they go to bed when they have good fresh ozone. You can also keep it in the refrigerator. Keep it in the refrigerator, it'll probably last a little longer. Ozone is wonderful to help disinfect your vegetables. If you buy some vegetables and you're concerned they may have pesticides or contaminants on them, put them in your kitchen sink, run the little bubbler, sterilize and purify your vegetables. You can also drink ozonated water. So in your drinking water, drop this in, ozonate it, and drink it. It's wonderful. So I hope this video was helpful. If you do have any questions, give the office a call at 800-430-9328, or you can go to our website, www.healingtheeye.com. This is Dr. Condra wishing you good health and clear vision. The next area that I want to talk about is stem cells. I've been interested in stem cells for over 10 years. And at one time, my wife and I traveled to Germany, Bangkok. We looked at all the centers that were doing stem cells. And I was actually pretty disappointed in the results they were getting for eye disease. Their results weren't as good as the results I was getting with microcurrent. And they was charging $25,000 to $50,000 for stem cell treatment. So you have to be careful with the stem cells. Now recently, cord stem cells have been approved. At one time in the United States, the only cells that were actually approved were autologous cells. They were cells taken from your body. So if you're 70 years old and you're taking stem cells, you got 70-year-old stem cells. So they're probably not going to be that effective for restoring lost vision. Now they may have some benefit in helping your joints or facial rejuvenation, things like that. So this is a picture of me in Dusseldorf, Germany at the Excel Stem Cell Center, where they were doing a large series of treating patients with macular degeneration. Now the most powerful stem cells are the embryonic and cord stem cells. Why? Because they're taken from a newborn. The embryonic are illegal and unethical in most civilized countries, but the cord stem cells are from the placenta or cord, and normally that's thrown away. So why not waste these precious cells? So now there are companies in the US that are processing these cord cells and then shipping them freeze-dried to doctors who are using them, myself included. Now, a question I often get is, well, what about genetic information? What about if there was a history of some neurological disease or diabetes? Am I going to get that into cord stem cells? No, these cells are genetically neutral. You do not need blood testing or any type of testing. They're genetically neutral. But still, the FDA requires a detailed history of the mother, family history, and the child before they use them. Autologous stem cells are widely used. It's probably the most commonly used stem cells. And these are cells that are taken from your body, either your bone marrow or fat. So if you are considering stem cells, I would be careful to avoid the autologous. Now, the autologous is fine for joint injections, wound repair, regeneration, things like that. But if you really want to get an effective stem cell, it's the cord, because the cord stem cells are maybe 1,000 times more potent. You know, a newborn baby grows at a rapid rate. The cells are really powerful. So the FDA has approved these cord stem cells. No, they're not approved for eye regeneration. They're just approved for use. It's up for the physician to his discretion in using the stem cells. Now, there was a disaster here in Florida recently where 2 people were blinded from stem cells. Now, the problem with that is, number one, they used autologous cells taken from the fat. They probably weren't processed. The second thing, a nurse administered the cells. So you really have to be careful. You want to make sure that you go to someone who specializes in the area that you're being treated. I'm an ophthalmologist, and if you come to me and you want stem cells in your joint, I'm not going to do it. I don't have any experience. You're better off going to an orthopedic surgeon. So as I mentioned, the cord stem cells are not fetal tissue. This is from the placenta and cord that's normally discarded after birth, and these cells are about 1,000 times more potent. Now, this is fascinating. Microcurrent generates stem cells. There are some FDA patents now on certain stem cell or certain microcurrent frequencies that help stem cells regenerate. So when you're doing your microcurrent, it is helping to stimulate stem cells in your body. Also, when we do stem cells in our office, we have certain microcurrent frequencies, and they act as a homing device, if you will, to help guide the stem cells in a particular tissue. Also, light therapy, which we use in our office, will help generate stem cells. So, improving results. You should eliminate all inflammation and infections. There have been some patients who had a flu or a chest cold. They got stem cells for their eye. Their chest cold went away, but it didn't help their vision. So you need to eliminate inflammation and infections. You also have to have good oxygenation in your body. So if you have sleep apnea, poor circulation, chronic lung disease, we need to take care of that. Also, you should eliminate heavy metals. Now, it may be impossible to eliminate all your heavy metals, but you should be at a point where, you know, the lead and mercury are not off the chart. So this is one thing that we feel very, very strongly before you get stem cells. These things should be taken care of. But by golly, if you do these things, most people will get healthy anyway. You may not need the stem cells. So normally, you know, the price for stem cells is between $24,000 and $50,000, and we are offering all of our patients a special stem cells for $9,995, and that includes a microcurrent machine, because I feel very strongly that microcurrent is essential to get good results for stem cells. Now, since many of you have already purchased a microcurrent machine, that means we will discount an additional $2,200 or whatever you paid for your machine off of that price of the stem cell. That is something to consider. You may want to talk to the office, give the office a call if you're interested in stem cells. So what is the next step? Well, I should have this on the top. You got to use the microcurrent. Your success is linked to the number of times you do the microcurrent. When I talk to patients, they're using, they had the machine for 3 months. I want to know how they're doing. Some people are disgusted. I haven't seen an improvement. How often are you doing the microcurrent? Well, I don't have time. I maybe do it once a week. They're not doing it right. So if you want good results, you have to be faithful with the microcurrent. You can also set up a consultation with me for a homeopathic evaluation or to help work with you in a more detailed level. Consider genetic testing. Also, the urine test is critical, that you do get the 6-hour urine test to see if you do have heavy metals. And the best way I can help you is the 1-year Chondrot program. This is an extensive program that I work with you for a year. You have 2 extended visits to our wellness center. It begins with a 1-week boot camp where we do IVs and run different frequencies, different therapies, and you come back in 6 months. It's the most effective way. And also consider stem cells. The Chondrot program is now available through trained integrative doctors. We have about 20 doctors throughout the country who are doing this. So we love for you to come to Florida, but if you're in California or far from the office, you know, consider a local doctor, and the list is available on our website. Even if you go to a doctor in California or some other country, I act as a coach for that doctor. I will review your records, make sure that you're getting the right light therapy, and make sure you're getting the right frequencies and treatment for the program. So typically we do evaluation and testing in the program, 3 days of IV therapies. We do a high-potency vitamin therapy. We do the oxidative therapies that we talked about. Some cases we do the ultraviolet blood irradiation. We do intensive microcurrent treatments. We're changing frequencies. You get light therapy, pulse electromagnetic field. You're pretty busy. It includes a customized microcurrent machine. If you have a customized microcurrent machine, we'll probably change the frequencies as we treat you over a 3 to 4 day period. You have customized light therapy, and we'll be reviewing testing for heavy metals and make sure you get on the right chelation. I wish you the best of luck in undergoing your microcurrent treatment, and if you do have any questions, please call the office a call. And I'd like you to join me for my weekly radio show every Sunday at 5 p.m. broadcasted out of Arizona, but you can always watch it online at www.1100kfnx.com. Please sign up for our monthly newsletter to keep you up to date on pointers to keep you healthy and keep your vision sharp. Also, I have a weekly podcast. All these can be found on www.healingtheeye.com. You can reach the office at 800-430-9328 or email us at info@healingtheeye.com. So this is Dr. Edward Condraut wishing all of you good health and clear vision.